Greetings, everyone. The topic for today is related to creative writing. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, subscribe it to get more updates related to the lessons which I'll be uploading. So, now moving towards the creative writing definition, we should know that a creative writing is any writing that goes outside the bounds of normal professional, journalistic, academic, or technical forms of literature. So typically identified by an emphasis on narrative craft, character development, and the use of literary tropes, or you can say with various traditions of poetry and poetics. Now there's a question that what is a creative writing? So creative writing is writing meant to evoke emotion in a reader by communicating a theme. In storytelling, including literature, movies, graphic novels, creative nonfiction, and many video games. The theme is central, meaning the work communicates. So a theme is not the only factor that defines creative writing. Here are other components usually found in creative writing. One is connecting, or at least attempting to connect with the reader's emotions. Writing from a specific point of view is another point, and organizing the text around a narrative structure, or a narrative structure can be complex or simple and serves to shape how the reader interacts with the content. So using imaginative and or descriptive language. These are all points which we should know about or related to creative writing. So creative writing typically uses literary devices like metaphors and foreshadowing to build a narrative and express the theme. But this is not a requirement. Neither is dialogue, though you will find it used in most work of fiction. Creative writing does not have to be fictional either. Dramatized presentations of true stories, memoirs, and observational humor pieces are all types of creative writing. There are different types of creative writing, and let's discuss each one of them in detail. First is novels. Novels originated in the 18th century. Today, when people think of books, most of them think of novels. A novel is a fictional story that is generally told in 60,000 to 10,000 or 1 lakh words, though you can say, though they can be as short as 40,000 words or go beyond 1 lakh. So stories that are too short to be novels but can't accurately be called short stories are often referred to as novellas. Generally, so this is the definition for the novellas, the difference between novels and novellas. Generally, a story between 10,000 and 40,000 words is considered a novella. You might also run into the term novelette, which is used to refer to stories that clock in between 7,500 and 19,000 words. So with the help of the words division, you can see the difference between novella, novelette, and novels. Now comes another type, which is the short stories. Short stories are fictional stories that fall generally between 5,000 and 10,000 words. Like novels, they tell complete stories and have at least one character, some sort of conflicts, and at least one theme. When a story is less than 1,000 words, it is categorized as a work of flash fiction. So, related to the short stories, we know that it's fictional story that falls between 5,000 and 10,000 story is a short story. Like novels, they tell you complete stories which have at least one character and there is some sort of the conflict and at least one theme should be present in your short story. And if it is less than 1,000 words, it is categorized as a work of flash fiction. Now comes the poetry. Poetry can be hard to define because a genre, it is so open-ended, a poem does not have to be any specific length. It does not have to rhyme, and there are many different kinds of poems from cultures all over the world like sonnets, haikus, and sestinas, black verses, limericks, and free verses. So the rules of the poetry are generally flexible unless you are writing a specific type of poem like haiku that has specific rules around the number of the lines or the structure, but while a poem is not required to conform to a specific length or formatting or use perfect grammar. It does not need to evoke its reader's emotions, come from a specific point of view, and express a theme. Now, plays, TV scripts, and screenplays. Let's see the difference between them. So, plays are meant to be performed on stage, screenplays are meant to be made into films, and TV scripts are meant to be made into television programs. Scripts for videos produced for other platforms fit into this category as well. Plays, TV scripts, and screenplays have a lot in common with novels and short stories. They tell stories that evoke emotion and express them themes. So the difference is that they're meant to be performed rather than read, and as such, they tend to rely much more on dialogue because they don't have the luxury of lengthy descriptive passages. But scriptwriters have more than just dialogue to work with. Writing a play or script also involves writing stage or scene directions. Now, there are a few tips for writing creatively. Give yourself time and space for creative writing, which is very important. It's hard to write a poem during your lunch break or work on your memoir between calls. So don't make writing more difficult for yourself by trying to squeeze it into your day. Instead, block off time to focus solely on creative writing. Ideally, in a distraction free environment like your bedroom or a coffee shop, because writing in that, you can say, aura, you can be more creative. Now, get to know yourself as a writer. This is very important. The more you write, the more in tune you will become with your strengths and weaknesses as a writer. You will identify the kinds of the characters, scenes, and language and pieces you like writing best and determine where you struggle the most. Understanding what kind of the writer you are can help you decide which kinds of projects to pursue. So whenever you are writing, it's a sort of a self-assessment. It will shows or reflects related to your weakness points, where the gaps need to be filled, and it will tell you about your expertise as well. Now comes challenge yourself. How you have to challenge yourself. Once you know which kinds of writing you struggle with, do those kinds of writing. If you only focus on what you are good at, you will never grow as a writer. Challenge yourself to write in a different genre or try a completely new type of writing. For example, if you are a short story writer, give poetry or personal essays a try. Another point is learn from other writers and how to learn from them. There are lots of resources out there about creative writing. Read and watch them. If there is a particular writer whose work you enjoy, seek out interviews with them and personal essays they have written about their creative processes. So, while doing that, you will learn a lot from them. So, know your audience. That is another important point. Like all the very best stories are created with their target reader in mind throughout the whole process. The why? Because it's exactly what you need to know in order to really tailor your writing and connect with that ideal person. Any creative writer should begin their writing by plotting out exactly who they want to read their work. A target persona, how old are they, what are their interests, what creative writing techniques feature in similar works they enjoy, and why would they read your work. So for each age group, their likes and dislikes would be different, and according to them, you can do your creative work. So once you have this in mind and you continually refer to your persona during the writing process, your work will naturally begin to take direction and flow in a way that seems appropriate to your target reader. Now, creativity is the key. Rather ironically, creativity is one of the most important elements of creative writing. Having your own ideas, themes, and messages, narratives, worlds, and characters is what sets you apart from other pieces of writing in your genre. It's what distinguishes you as a writer. Of course, this does not mean that if you are creating a biographical piece, that you need to write a tale about a totally fantastical and mythical world with unique creatures that live within. After all, that would totally eliminate your entire genre. But simply use your creativity to think a little outside the box and put a unique twist on things, using literary devices like metaphors, alliteration, and varied sentence structures to make your work unique and interesting. Challenge your imagination. Once once you can say that one of the great things about creative writing is that there is no definition or rules or how to write. It's an open expressive platform, one that's totally unique to you and relies on your own interpretations. One, you should take this as an opportunity to challenge your imagination and see where it could take you. Some of the most interesting pieces of literature are thought provoking or make us question the writing or world around us. Where could your next story take you? So, creative writing, which can be categorized either as a fiction or nonfiction, you may have already heard about some of the most popular, which include biographies and other nonfiction, fiction, novels, novellas, short stories, etc., poetry and spoken word, playwriting, script writing. It can be personal essays and speeches. I hope you have enjoyed this lesson. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, subscribe it to get more updates related to IELTS, PTE, English grammar, and English language lessons. Thank you.